Hi Leo, this is Tisch Aitken, and this is your monthly horoscope for the month of August. We begin the month with transiting Mercury in the sign of Cancer in your 11th house of friends and groups and social networking, forming an opposition to Pluto in your house of romance and creativity. This could be a power playing aspect. It could be challenges with friends or associations. So that's a day you want to lay low. And on the 3rd of August, we have a full moon that takes place at 11 degrees and 46 minutes of Aquarius. And this falls in your 6th house of work and daily routine. We've all been working with this big Capricorn's tale of structuring and restructuring and collapsing of old paradigms. For you, it's been in your house of romance and creativity and self-expression. But for all, we've been working under very challenging circumstances. So perhaps there is a project that comes to fruition that you've been working on for a while. But that's where this full moon occurs for you. And on August 4th, transiting Mars in Aries, which is a fire sign and has been in Aries since June 27th, and is occupying your 8th house of other people's money, joint resources, blocked wounds, and investments. That is going to, transiting Mars is going to square Jupiter in Capricorn, and Jupiter is in your 5th house of creativity. That's where all the Capricorn planets are this year, of restructuring. And that could be a surge of energy. It's going to expand the fiery energy for all of us, but it's going to help us have the wherewithal to get things done, because bear in mind that Mars is going to retrograde during your birthday season. It's going to retrograde on September 9th at 28 degrees of Aries and station direct on November 13th. And this falls in your Scorpio house, in the 8th house of joint resources, death, and rebirth. So there might be things that you're coming to terms with in terms of letting go of wounds and pain and doing healing work. And also maybe you're focusing on improving your finances or your debt, or you've taken out a loan and you're trying to work with that in some way. But that's where transiting Mars is going to be, and you want to work with it, even though it enters its shadow it entered its shadow at the end of July, which means that it got to 15 degrees of Aries, where it is going to station direct on November 13th. It's still moving full throttle, and we've got to work with what we've got to work with. And so we've got on the 4th of August, transiting Mercury finally exits the sign of Cancer, where it's been since the end of May, and enters the sign of Leo and transits in your 12th house of the imagination and spirituality and dreams. And this could give you a lot of creativity. Pay attention to your intuition, to messages you may be getting in your dreams. And then on the 5th of August, we have Venus in Gemini meeting up with the North Node of Destiny. And that falls in your house of career. That's an excellent energy. Venus has been in Gemini since April 4th, and it was retrograde from May 13th until June 25th, and it retrograded in your house of career, reviewing how you can be more creative and prosperous. And Venus retrogrades in this sector of your chart every 8 years. So pay attention to what happens on the 5th of August. If there are meetings that you can attend or schedule for that date, pay attention to whom you meet. It's a great day for creative and financial partnering and endeavors, and for meeting people. It's a great networking energy, and it does fall in your house of career. And then on August 4th, Mercury is also exiting the sign of Cancer and entering Leo, which I believe I just said. And so we've got this creative energy because Mercury is very creative in the sign of Leo, and that's where the sun is transiting until August 22nd when it enters your sign. So a lot around imagination and creativity. And Venus enters the sign of Cancer on August 7th and transits in your 11th house of friends and groups, and it's going to be there until September 6th. So that's an excellent time in this month to meet new people, to network, to raise your social media presence if you're looking for a job, or if you're just, fixing up your resume. It's excellent for networking of all forms, for finding your tribe, and for meeting new people. So that's a nice energy. And on August 13th, transiting Mars in your 8th house of blocked wounds is going to square Pluto in the sky in your house of romance and creativity. That's an explosive energy that's very combative. Pluto is the higher octave of Mars, but that is not energy that you want to really target to plan something for that date. That's something to lay low. People will be very charged up that date. And on the 15th of August, Uranus in Taurus stations retrograde, and it stations retrograde at 10 degrees of Taurus, and that's in your house of hope and higher learning and education and publicity and promotion. And we feel the energy strongly, and Uranus is the great awakener of the zodiac. Expect the unexpected. You might find new opportunities that emerge at that time, but it is in a fellow earth sign, but it's still very kind of explosive energy when that happens. And then on the 16th of August, we've got transiting Mars forming a trine in Leo, and that's very creative energy, and that's a good day to target things. And the Sun in Leo meets up with Mercury on the 17th, and that falls in your 12th house of imagination. Really good with coming up with creative ideas, great for writing, great for doing music, any kind of manifesting work you want to do. And on the 18th of August, we have a new moon that takes place at 26 degrees of Leo, again in your house of imagination and dreams. So this is a very good month for you to do manifesting work and creative work if you're inclined. And so that new moon sets off the total solar eclipse that took place on August 21st of 2017, that took place at 28 degrees of Leo, which is the royal fixed star known as Regulus. So that's a very creative energy. And transiting Venus in Cancer in your house of friends and groups is forming a sextile to Uranus in Taurus, which is in your house of higher learning and hope. So this is very creative, good for networking, good for partnering, good for romance, and an excellent new moon. So definitely set intentions on that date. And on the 25th of August, we have transiting Mercury in Virgo. Mercury enters Virgo, your sign, on August 19th. And so it's transiting in your first house of self after that for a few weeks. And it's going to form a trine to Uranus. And Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. And Uranus is in your house of manifesting and teaching and higher learning. And it's excellent for all sorts of intellectual endeavors and really good creative energy, very innovative. And that day, transiting Venus in your house of friends and groups forms an opposition to Jupiter, and that expands the creativity. It can be excessive, but those are the two benefics, and Jupiter is expanding your house of romance and creative endeavors. So that's a nice energy. That's a very nice date. And on the 27th of August, Venus in your house of friends and groups forms a trine to Neptune in your house of relationships. And Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. It's very romantic energy. That's an excellent date for romantic dates and meeting new people, being careful, but meeting new people. And also it's great for all creative pursuits you might have. On the 30th of August, we've got Venus in Cancer in your house of friends and groups forming an opposition to Pluto. So that is not a day, that could be breakups that day, that can be big challenges and power plays around relationships of all forms. And that day, transiting Mercury in your house of self is forming an opposition to Neptune in your house of relationships. And Neptune in the lower form can be deception. So that can be confusion, deceit, or just a lot of challenges around relationships. So that's not a date to plan on partnering. That's a date to kind of do some manifesting and healing work in the midst of this. So I wish you a lot of luck, Virgo, and it will be your birthday on the 22nd, the Virgo season. So I hope you have a really good birthday, and I know your birthday season continues into September, but good luck. A lot to work with this month because Mars will be retrograde in September. So good luck to you, and thank you very much. Take care.